Days. Today we're reading
Woo!
a twisted movie with twisted people, and we're twisted for reading it in the summer because it's The Nightmare Before Christmas, a favorite of many. And the wonderful actors we have to read this will go. We have a lot of great regulars that are here, and I'm going to go around the way they are on my screen. Vicki Dykes. Welcome
Hi,
back.
I'm Vicki Dykes, and I'm from Central Alberta. I'm an actress, and I will be reading for 8 characters tonight.
Awesome. And Angelina Peterson.
Angelina, and I'll be reading the first half of the descriptions, actions, and something else, a various person.
And Arend.
Hello, I'm Arend Williamson. I'm an aspiring voice actor. I'll be playing 4 roles, the largest one being Locke.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. And we have Lore. She'll be playing Beryl. And also Jack.
Hello, I am V, and I am Jack. Wait, you were talking about the other Jack. Sorry.
That works.
Yeah, I know. I've known tons of Jacks. It's always super confusing to tell the difference between the two. Anyways, my name is Jack, and I will be playing like a few different roles. Most notably, the man, the myth, the legend, Santa Claus himself.
Oh my, we're gonna have some fun, are we?
You get away from me, Oogie Boogie!
No.
All right, and then we have Morgan Toll.
Hi, I'm Morgan Toll. I'll be reading a few different roles tonight from New York City. Very excited.
Awesome. Clint Monroe.
Hey, how's it going? I am Clint Monroe, and I will be playing Creature Number 1 and others. But that's my main role as Creature Number 1, so I'm going to crush it.
All right. Heather Lee Cameron.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron, and I will be playing Evil Scientist in Witch 2 tonight.
Sweet. And now, V and Alexa, Jack and Sally.
Hi, sorry about before. I'm V, and I will be playing Jack Skeleton, and this is my mom, Alexa, and she will be playing Sally.
Sweet, sweet. Happy to have you here. And Justin Daube.
Hi, I'm Justin Daube. I'm the one that they bring out anytime they need someone to do the weird stuff, because I do the weird stuff. I will be playing a bunch of assorted roles. I will be giving life to any non-dialogue voices that need it. And, oh yes, I'm also playing a big sack of insects. Mr. Oogie Boogie. But you ain't going nowhere.
Sweet. And now, those are the regulars and the people who have been here before. And now, we welcome a new actress to the crew, Amanda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda. I am so excited to be here. This is one of my favorite movies. I'm going to be playing Shock and various other Halloween Town residents. It's going to be awesome.
Love you, sweetie.
Oh, yeah, I'm married to Oogie Boogie.
Excellent. That's awesome. And then we're going to read the script. We're going to get into it right now, and afterwards you'll get to know everybody better, and then we'll talk about the movie more. So we'll get right into it as we share the screen. And here we go.
A Nightmare Before Christmas. Story by Tim Burton, Michael McDowell, Carolyn Thompson. Lyrics by Danny Elfman. Screenplay by Carolyn Thompson. Okay, fade in, prologue. Close on an old-fashioned calendar, the kind that used to hang in offices in the 40s. Each day is a tear-off page. The dates are printed in bold, black lettering. The pages of days of the year zip off at a rate faster than the eye can really register. The impression should be of time whizzing by. Over this, Santa Claus narrates.
Was a long time ago, quite a bit to be fair, in a place that I'm sure you are quite unaware. For our story that you are about to be told began in the holiday worlds of old. Without holidays, goodness, how dull life would be without their distraction and pleasure and glee.
The calendar makes a sudden stop at Christmas. The calendar page peels back to reveal the first hint of color in the black and white of the year. Smoke curls up from the chimney of a snow-covered cottage in a clearing of a snow-covered pine forest. The stop is only for a beat. Then the calendar speeds on.
But all holidays are the result of much fuss and hard work for all worlds that must take them for us.
The calendar stops again, this time at Valentine's Day. This stop is short, but longer than the last, as each subsequent stop will be. In Valentineville, fat cupids shoot arrows at distant chocolate-dripping hearts. Target practice.
See, each holiday town works all year to create 24 special hours. Fantastically great.
Soon the calendar whirls on. Next stop is Easter, where it is spring. Cackling hens sit side by side on their long row of nests. In unison, choreographed like some ballet, they lay their pre-decorated eggs. The eggs then drop down a chute and land on a conveyor belt, which carries them out of the hen house and into waiting Easter baskets.
Fleeting 24 hours take long to prepare. A full year of planning and plenty of care. But now getting back to the story at hand, I should mention this point about holiday lands.
The calendar flips to 4th of July, fireworks. Abe Lincoln fires a cannon. The cannonball explodes midair, showering down the word happy. Betsy Ross uses a sparkler to write the word 4th. Paul Revere sets off the first of 6 rockets. Rocket number 1 erupts into an O. Number 2 traces an F. Together they read of. Rocket 3 won't light, neither will 4, 5, or 6. Paul Revere panics. But Paul Revere's horse saves the day. He kicks off his horseshoes, shooting them at the side of the wooden fence. As they hit the boards, each becomes a letter. J-U-L-Y.
For each one, way back then, was alas, unaware of the other's existence. Now that I've said it, so there.
The calendar pages tear on, slowly at October 29th, slowly more at, and stopping on the 31st.
But once there occurred a calamity so great, when 2 worlds did collide by mistake.
The October 31st page peels back to nothing, to black. We fall in, or perhaps it should feel more like we're swallowed up. Title sequence. Carved jack-o'-lanterns come at us in the long tunnel of darkness. Collision seems inevitable, but in the instant before we could slam into them, the jack-o'-lantern veer off, turning to display the various credits on their uncarved backside. When the last jack-o'-lantern zooms towards us, it doesn't veer off. It keeps coming and fast. Rather than colliding with it, though, we fall straight into one of the Pumpkinhead's carved out triangular eyes, into the further black there and out, a crypt door, which opens onto exterior Halloween Land Cemetery night. The bloated orange disk of the moon illuminates Halloween Land's delicately decrepit graveyard. Reverse on Pumpkinhead. Giant jack-o'-lantern head now set on the squat vines of his many leafy legs. He looks more like a spider than like anything else as he scuttles the cemetery towards a big pumpkin patch. This is Halloween.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see this our town of Halloween.
Pumpkinhead has reached the pumpkin patch, where he drops down among his fellow pumpkins, who all wake up at once. Suddenly, jack-o'-lantern mouths and eyes glowing wide for the chorus.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween. Everybody make a scene. Trick or treat till the neighbors gonna die of fright.
Exterior Halloween town, night, continuous time. Beyond the grave lies the old city of odd expressionist angles and the morbid extravaganza of Gothic mansions.
It's our town. Everybody scream in this town of Halloween.
We swoop down the street through the creaky iron gates of a exterior deserted Gothic I don't know that word. Night continuous time. We enter through a broken, cobweb-clogged window into interior, deserted Gothic man's interior continuous time. Many creatures hide in the shadows of this creepy house. The camera finds them.
I'm the one hiding under your bed, teeth ground sharp and eyes glowing red.
I am the one hiding under your stairs, fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair.
In the man's decayed parlor, every item of furniture that could conceivably serve as a coffin springs open. The grandfather clock, a window seat, the sofa, the chaise lounge, the hearth rug, covering a trapdoor, and drawers of a sideboard, and out pop corpses. The corpses sit bolt upright and heartily sing.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
The man's falling down front hall is tenuously illuminated by the tarantula chandelier, which clings to the ceiling overhead and lowers and rises according to the whims of its web. 4 big vampires lumber in from the dark, slanty hallways that fan off the entrance hall. They march in and, in formation, march out the front door into the ruins of exterior worm-rotted front porch. Night continuous time. The vampires' bodies are huge, but their heads are small like insect heads, and the voices that come out of their heads are little, squeaky, and high.
In this town we call home, everybody hails to the pumpkin song.
As they sing, they march down the rickety steps, out on the exterior street. Night continuous time. A hearse passes the manse. Riding on top of is the corpulent mayor of Halloween Land. Not surprisingly, he's a two-faced sort of guy, revealed as each of his faces sings a line.
In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise.
While the hearse turns a corner and glides past the alley, we hear a gravely voice.
Round that corner, man, hiding in the trash can. Something's waiting to pounce on you.
The lid flies off the trash can and out pops the gravely voiced trash can dwelling monster. He's fat and slimy and grotesque.
Scream, this is Halloween, red and black, slimy green. Aren't you scared? Well, that's just fine.
Witches speed toward us on their brooms, zipping out of the alley.
Say it once, say it twice. Take the chance and roll the dice. Ride with the moon in the dead of night.
At the street, the witches fan out and swoop past the hanging tree, a gigantic oak with several hanged men dangling from its broad, outstretched branches. The hanging tree itself sings.
Everybody scream in our town of Halloween.
The hanged men suddenly revive.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
Exterior, another street, night. A lumpen-looking long-haired woman in heels hurries away down the tortuously windy street. This is Sally. For now we see only her backside, her waist-length hair. Behind her, and closer to us, a ghoul tips into view to demonstrate his particular talent.
I am the guy with the tearaway face.
Sally hesitates, listening.
Here in a flash and gone without a trace.
Sally is about to turn around, but as the ghoul vanishes, she continues on her way. We follow her. In a moment, a second ghoul sets upon her, this one more gruesome than the last.
I am the who when you call.
The ghoul is closer, louder, and Sally does turn around now, revealing that she's a crudely stitched together Bride of Frankenstein ragdoll. Her balance is precarious. Her arms flop. Her mouth is tragic slash. She has a quavering little voice.
Who's there?
But the second ghoul has disappeared before she sees him. Only his voice remains.
I am the wind blowing through your hair.
Invisible fingers lift Sally's long hair. It is with pathetic eagerness that she looks around for whomever is responsible for this. A third ghoul springs into view, then bounces skyward. With a very disappointed Sally, she's sorry he's leaving, we watch him go up into exterior sky, night continuous time. The third ghoul seems to reach the moon.
I am the shadow of the moon at night, filling your dreams with brims with fright.
As the third ghoul passes the orange disk of the moon, bats flap out from behind it. They sing with the third ghoul.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Halloween. Halloween.
The bats flutter off, and the third ghoul falls back toward the ground. He lands. Exterior Halloween Square, Town Square. Night continuous time. As he hits the ground, the third ghoul shatters, breaking apart into several pieces. Globular and doughy gelatinous lumps, each a separate little creature. When they sing, they have very high voices.
Beans, like everywhere. Life's no fun without a good scare.
Over the crest of the hill, behind the town square, the corpses march into view, flanking the mayor's hearse.
That's our job, but we're not
mean in our town of Halloween.
Behind the corpses comes a vampires.
In this town.
The mayor blares out his message through a PA system on a hearse.
Don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise.
The witches come next.
Skeleton Jack might catch you in the back and scream.
The gelatinous lumps instantly reassemble to form a third ghoul.
Like a banshee makes you jump.
The third ghoul immediately bounces out of sight again. Sally stumbles into view, still hurrying. She sings with everyone else.
Out of your skin,
this is Halloween.
Halloween.
Sally excitedly spots someone coming, though he's still out of view for us.
Everyone scream, won't you please make way for a very special guy?
The others turn to look.
Our man
Jack is king of the pumpkin patch.
Everyone
hail to the pumpkin king.
They part to make way for Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King. Astride a skeleton horse, boots set backwards on the stirrups as it is done for the honored dead, Jack is tall, long-limbed, and bone-thin. He's formally attired and wears an elegant bat bow tie. Sally gapes tragically at Jack, but he rides right past without noticing her. Accompanying Jack are most of the creatures and monsters we've met, the various inhabitants of Halloween Land. Everyone else falls in behind Jack, including a stumbling, almost left behind gawking Sally.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
The hanging tree hurries to join the parade. He brings up the rear. The hanged men bobble on their ever-tightening nooses. Their tongues and eyes pop out. The tighter nooses make the hanged men's voices reed thin and high, contrasting to the enormous hanging tree's lone basso profundo.
In this place we call home. Everybody hail to the pumpkin song.
Later, Jack Skellington is demonstrative and very excitable, with highs that are extraordinarily high and lows that are unusually low. Right now, he is surrendered by his admirers. The witches in particular fawn over him. Jack seems eager to please everyone, but at the same time, a bit anxious to get on with it.
Thank you.
Sally watches him longingly from the edge of the circle.
Oh, Jack, you're such a scream, isn't he?
The ensemble.
Yes.
You make sparks fly, Jack.
And you make oil boil.
Oh, you make rats shriek.
I love that.
You make flesh crawl.
The three witches try to outdo one another.
And wound superate.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
The last witch blares triumphantly at her cronies.
What an inspiration to everybody.
An inspiration.
It was our most horrific Halloween ever.
Sally sighs and starts to drift irresistibly toward Jack. Throughout, Ragdoll Sally gains substance as she gains conviction. This is her first baby step toward that. Not even perceptible, but in any case, rudely interrupted by the evil scientist who created her. He takes a hold of her by one of her stitched-together arms.
A deadly nightshade just slipped me wore off, Sally. I thought I'd find you here.
No.
Sally pulls back, trying to wriggle free of the scientist's grasp.
Let go.
But he doesn't.
Have it then if you must.
With her other hand, she quickly and deftly rips out the stitches that attached her arm to the rest of her. then rips the arm clear out of its socket. She leaves the doctor holding it while she runs off into the crowd, determined to elude the evil scientist. She disappears into the gloom and in the direction of the cemetery. Shaking her torn-off arm, the evil scientist calls after her.
You'll be back. Sooner or later, you'll need this.
Jack continues to congratulate and be congratulated by the various citizens of Halloween Land. The mayor interjects, looking for attention.
Next year will be even better, you'll see.
Do you really think so?
Of course I do. It always is, isn't it?
Always. We'll have to get it on immediately. No time for sitting around smugly.
So true. We've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Jack.
The ensemble breaks up. Jack turns to leave, but his path is blocked by a couple of adorably hideous kid monsters.
Just one more time, Jack.
Jack rattles his bones once more for the kids. They shriek a gleeful shriek and scamper off. At the corner of the town square, Jack passes a street band, fellow skeletons down on their luck, an accordion player, a sax player, and a violinist. He tosses a coin into their hats. Playing, they nod their thanks. Cut to exterior cemetery night later. Utterly dejected, Sally crouches behind the tombstone. She hugs herself with her remaining arm. A sudden sound of someone approaching makes her freeze. She dares to peek over the top of the tombstone to see who it is. It's Jack. The sight of him immediately comforts her.
Oh, it's Jack. Look at him. He's so alive, so happy. He's so filled with confidence he could teach the wolves to howl.
Sally lets out a little whimper of self-pity and collapses out of sight behind the tombstone to feel sorry for herself.
He'll never notice me. Why would he? Why should he?
Sally hugs herself again, as best she can with her one arm. Jack makes his way past the markers and mausoleums. He looks around, and since Sally is hiding behind the tombstone, he doesn't see anyone. He starts the long climb up the cemetery ridge as he sings.
There are few who deny it. What I do, I am the best, for my talents are renowned far and wide. When it comes to surprises in the moonlit night, I excel without ever even trying. With the slightest little effort of my ghost-like charms, I have seen crowmen give out a shriek. With the wave of my hand and a well-placed moan, I have swept the very bravest off their feet.
Jack pauses a moment, as if letting these facts settle in. Then heaves a huge sigh and sags miserably. Jack's ghost dog Zero rises out of his grave, floats over to Jack and circles around him. Trying to comfort his beloved master, he drapes himself over Jack's shoulder and lays a sympathetic head on him. Hunched over with sorrow, Jack drags his bones up the desolate hill.
Yet year after year, it's the same routine, and I grow so weary of the sound of screams. But I, Jack, the Pumpkin King, have grown so tired of the same old thing.
Zero drifts sadly to the ground and flattens faithfully beside his master, only his shiny little jack-o'-lantern nose on the end of his pointy snout sticks up. Jack tragically reaches the crest of the long hill. Zero follows, dragging along the ground after him.
Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones and emptiness began to grow. There's something out there far from my home, a longing that I've never known.
Jack gazes hopelessly out over Halloween Land. Behind her tombstone, Sally can't believe what she's hearing. She peeks but hides again. She listens breathlessly as Jack continues his soul searching.
I'm a master of fright and a demon of light, and I'll scare you right out of your pants, boy. To a guy in Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France. And since I am dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotations. No animal nor man can scream like I can with the fury of my recitations. But who here would ever understand that the Pumpkin King with his skeleton grin would tire of his crown if they only understood? He would give it all up if he only could.
Sally's heart goes out to Jack. She had no idea he felt this way, no idea of his tragic side. She wants to show him that he's not as alone as he thinks, that she understands him, but she's timid. Should she come out from behind the tombstone? Dare she? Dare? Should she? Shouldn't she?
Oh, there's an empty place in my bones that calls out for something unknown. The fame and praise come year after year, does nothing for these empty tears.
Jack heads off with Zero, staggering away blind in his misery while Sally, still crouched behind the tombstone, continues to debate with herself. Jack has left the cemetery and disappeared from sight when she finally screws up her courage and pops up full of determination and shouts.
Jack, I know you hardly know me, but...
He isn't there to hear her. Shocked and disappointed, Sally's ragdoll body goes floppy again. Her voice gets high and tiny, then trails off, almost tearfully.
I feel the same way you do.
Sally stares sadly into the empty spot Jack so recently occupied, then turns and hobbles limply away. She stops at a weed-choked and dissected little herb garden, set beside a cluster of tombstones at the edge of the graveyard. The herb growing there is labeled henbane, witch hazel, deadly nightshade. As best she can with her single arm, Sally gathers fresh sprigs of deadly nightshade. Cut to exterior wilderness, night later. Lost in his private tragedy, Jack lurches heedlessly forward, looking around confused. They've never been here before. Zero floats quickly after. Hurrying to catch up, whimpering, he bites Jack's coattails and pulls. Trying his best to get Jack to stop, to turn around.
No, Zero.
Jack pulls free. Trying again. Zero grabs Jack by the leg, wrapping his mouth around Jack's skinny shin bone.
No playing today, Zero. I'm just not in the mood.
Zero lets go, and Jack marches wretchedly forward. Cut to interior evil scientist's house kitchen late night later. Close on an empty jar marked deadly nightshade. Sally drops in the fresh sprig of the herb.
Sally?
Alarmed, Sally screws the lid back on. As quickly as she can with only one arm, she hides the jar in the back of the cabinet. The evil scientist is a twisted silhouette in the doorway behind Sally.
You came back.
Gasping guiltily, Sally spins around.
Yes.
For this?
He holds up Sally's torn off arm, as well as a large shiny needle threaded with a long strand of thread.
Yes.
Didn't I tell you I'm always right, you know, my dear? Aren't I?
Yes.
Smiling his mad grin, the scientist gestures into a room behind him.
Shall we?
He makes way for Sally. After a beat, Sally nods. Resigned, she trudges past him. He jauntily follows her. Cut to interior evil scientist laboratory. Night later. The evil scientist carefully sews Sally's arm back on. Even so, the stitches are crude and the fit awkward. The expression on her face is more tragic than ever.
You're mine, you know. I made you.
I know.
If you went away, what would become of me?
I'm grown up now. I have to leave sometime.
Of course you do, and I want you to. But there's no need to hurry it along, is there?
I can't help it.
That's twice this month you've slipped deadly nightshade into my tea and run off. People might get the wrong idea and think you're unhappy at home.
Sally whimpers sadly.
I do the best I can to make it comfortable for us here.
I know.
But I guess my best just isn't good enough.
As anxious as she is to be away from here, Sally can't bear the thought of hurting anybody and instinctively tries to make him feel better.
That's not true. It's a beautiful home, wonderfully comfortable. I'm indebted to you for everything. It's just...
Just what?
Just me, I suppose. I'm restless. I can't help it.
The scientist smiles, feeling Sally under his sway again. He pats her consolingly, then finishes sewing her arm and makes an elaborate knot at the end of his stitches. He snips the thread and puts away his sewing kit.
It's a phase, my dear. It'll pass. We need to be patient, that's all.
Sally heaves a big sigh.
That's all.
She looks off tragically. Outside is sunrise, cut to exterior forest dawn. Still bowed by the depth of his despair, unaware of time or distance or anything, Jack wanders through the gloom of the forest. Jack floats protectively at his side. Zero floats protectively at his side. Suddenly Jack is stabbed by a ray of light from the rising sun.
Ah!
Cringing, he stops in his tracks. When he dares look up around him, it is as though he has just been woken up from a dream.
Where am I?
Zero barks his haunted ghost bark. Jack seems to notice the dog.
Zero, where are we? We've never been here, have we, boy?
Jack takes a few steps one direction and looks curiously, then a few steps in the other direction and looks and looks.
It's someplace new.
Zero circles Jack, worrying him around, trying to aim him back toward home, but Jack resists. He wants to see whatever there is to see. He proceeds deeper into the woods. Cut to exterior, Jack's tower, day. The mayor's hearse pulls up in front of Jack's tower. The mayor climbs out, arms brimming with blueprints and plans. He struts to Jack's door, his confident face on, and bangs the knocker.
Jack.
He waits for an answer. There isn't any. Even this little bit of suspense brings out the mayor's other face. This one is scared, self-doubting.
Jack, you home?
There's still no answer. The mayor squints out into the street. Clearing his throat, he barks confidently as passers-by.
Have you seen Jack? Have you seen Jack?
But nobody has. He doesn't bother to ask the street band set up across the street. The mayor's bravado face evaporates, and the whiny one takes over.
Where is he? We had an appointment.
His blustery face back on. The mayor shouts out to Jack's room at the top of the tower.
Jack, I've got the plans for next year. See?
He holds up the blueprints and plans he carries.
I need to go over them with you so we can get started. Halloween will be here again in no time. 360 odd days fly by too fast.
The mayor's face alternates in progressively rapid succession as panic sets in.
Jack, please. I'm only an elected official here. I can't make decisions. Jack, answer me.
Ruined, the mayor crumples. The accordion player of the street band says quietly from across the street.
He can't.
The mayor looks up.
Why not?
He's not home.
Where is he?
He hasn't been home all night.
The mayor tries to rouse himself, but he's shorted out, exhausted.
Oh.
He drops again to the sidewalk. Cut to exterior, evil scientist's house, day later. Sally peers out of an upper story window, expression eager and despairing all at once. Cut to interior forest, dusk. It is just before night. Jack strides forward toward a distant pumpkin shape that seems to be carved out of the dark and outlined by glowing light. Jack can't wait to find out what this means, but Zero, warier than his master and far less enthusiastic about his adventure, lags behind. Arriving at the pumpkin shape, Jack eagerly reaches out to it. When he touches it, it gives, creaking open, to more woods beyond. It's a door. Zero hurries to catch up as Jack steps through the pumpkin-shaped door and out onto a clearing. And in this next forest, awed, Jack stops dead in the middle of the clearing and gapes at what he sees. There are more doorways, etched into the trunks of the trees that ring the clearing. To us, these doorways make sense. One is shaped like an Easter egg, another like a firecracker, another like a valentine, another like a shamrock, and another like a Christmas tree. To Jack, who's never heard of the other holidays, these doorways are a total mystery. He is especially transfixed by the Christmas tree-shaped door. It rattles invitingly on its hinges. Gusts of cold air blow it out from behind. Snow oozes out beneath. The drama of it draws Jack closer. Zero hesitates in the pumpkin-shaped doorway, uneasy about crossing through it to the other side. But the sight of Jack striding resolutely toward the Christmas tree-shaped door makes him swoop quickly after. Using all his strength, Jack wrenches open the Christmas tree-shaped door. There is a moment's delay. Darkness, stillness, silence. Then the instantaneous fury of a howling blizzard. A quick blast of snow knocks Zero back, clear back through the pumpkin-shaped door. The whipping winter wind curls around Jack's frail bones and sucks him in through the open door. Jack disappears. The Christmas tree-shaped door slams shut. After a beat, Zero pokes his head over the lintel of the pumpkin-shaped doorway and sees that Jack has vanished. Panic-stricken, he streaks across the clearing to the closed Christmas tree door. Crying, he scratches on the door, tries to squeeze it under his squeeze under it. His vaporous body is easy, but his head and jack-o'-lantern nose are another matter. Circles the tree, investigates for another entrance, above, below, every which way. He tries everything in his ghost dog powers to get in, but all in vain. He has no choice but to wait. Ears cocked, he settles down to stare and stare at the strange door that swallowed his master. Cut, a whirling snow-whirled tunnel of blackness, through which Jack falls. The fall abruptly ends. Black, cut to. Exterior Christmas town night. Jack sits up in the snowbank where he has landed. He looks excitedly around. He marvels first at the miracle of snow. What's this?
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere. What's this? There's white things in the air. What's this? I can't believe my eyes. I must be dreaming. Wake up, Jack. This isn't fair. What's this?
He cavorts excitedly in the snow, slipping and sliding, finally tumbling down a hill into the center of Christmas Town. He springs up, shakes himself off, and enthusiastically explores the snow-blanketed village.
What's this? What's this? There's something very wrong. What's this? There's people singing songs. What's this? The streets are lined with little creatures laughing. Everybody seems so happy. Have I possibly gone daffy? What is this? What's this? There's children throwing snowballs instead of throwing heads. They're busy building toys and absolutely no one's dead.
Here in Christmas Town, every tree is a Christmas tree and each house is shinier and more beautifully decorated than the next.
There's frost on every window. Oh, I can't believe my eyes. And in my bones I feel the warmth that's coming from inside.
Jack peeks into warmly lighted homes. Jack uses his consummate Halloween trickster skills to see without being seen.
Oh, look. What's this? They're hanging mistletoe. They kiss. Why, that looks so unique. Inspired! They're gathering around to hear a story. Roasting chestnuts on a fire. What's this? What's this? In here, they've got a little tree. How queer. And who would ever think? And why? They're covering it with tiny little things. They've got electric lights on screens and there's a smile at everyone. So now correct me if I'm wrong. This looks like fun. This looks like fun. Oh, could it be? I got my wish. What's this?
Jack enters a child's cozy bedroom in one house.
Oh my, what now? The children are asleep, but look, there's nothing underneath. No ghouls, no witches here to scream and scare them or ensnare them. Only little cozy things secure inside their dreamland. What's this?
Distracted, Jack goes off to leave the child at whom he has been peering, suddenly wide awake and terrified. Jack is back outside.
The monsters are all missing and the nightmares can't be found. And in their place there seems to be good feeling all around. Instead of screams, I swear I can hear music in the air. The smell of cakes and pies is absolutely everywhere. The sights, the sounds, they're everywhere and all around. I've never felt this good Before this empty place inside of me is filling up, I simply cannot get enough. I want it. Oh, I want it. Oh, I want it for my own. I've got to know what is this place that I have found. What is this?
Jack darts this way and that and runs, trying to get his fill of this strange, new, wonderful place. He trips and falls and starts to roll as he rolls, he gathers snow. He becomes a gigantic snowball barreling through the Christmas town, stopping only when he slams into one of two gigantic candy canes, between which spans a sign. Jack bursts out of the snowball, only to have fresh snow dumped on him, which falls from the sign between two tall candy canes. Jack shakes himself free from this fresh heap of snow, looks up at the wide, welcoming sign, Christmas Town, and thoughtfully reads,
Christmas Town?
Jack studies the town from this distance. The lights glow heartwarmingly.
Incredible. I'll need proof.
On his feet again, he slinks quietly back toward Christmas Town. Cut to exterior Christmas Town Square day. A number of the worried citizens of Halloween Land have gathered. They chatter among themselves. The mayor addresses them from the top of his hearse.
Quiet now. We'll all agree that 2 days is far too long for Jack to have been gone without warning. Is there anywhere we've forgotten to check?
I looked everywhere in the Mausoleum.
We opened the sarcophagi.
I jumped through the pumpkin patch.
We peeked in the Cyclops' eye.
Cyclops' eye.
The other citizens wheel around to look at him disbelievingly.
I did, but he was there.
Everyone sighs.
It's time to sound the alarms.
Cut to interior evil scientist kitchen day later. Outside, the alarm wails in the distance, while inside, Sally speedily whips up a pot of sleeping potion soup. She keeps looking out the window, hoping for a hint of what's going on, but nothing, not a clue. Eager to find out, she hurries the soup along. Various spice jars are out on the counter. Among them, the one labeled Deadly Nightshade, the entire contents of which she dumps into the pot.
Regular dose, double dose, double dose. You'll be able to smell a double dose of Deadly Nightshade. Anybody could.
She studies the other jars and picks the one labeled Frog's Breath.
Frog's breath will overpower any smell.
She opens the jar, recoiling from the odor. She turns aside, trying to escape the fumes as she pours some of the frog's breath into the soup, but it starts to overwhelm her anyways. She swoons, her knees buckle. In her swoon, she fumbles blindly among the other jars.
Sweet pea. Where's that sweet pea? Too bitter.
Her hand finally locates the jar labeled Sweet Pea. The evil scientist calls from another room.
Sally?
Still choking, hardly able to even squeak out an answer, Sally struggles to open the Sweet Pea jar.
Where's my soup?
Sally finally gets the jar open. As fast as she can, she empties it into the soup and hovers above the pot. In a moment, the Sweet Pea takes effect and Sally's strength begins to return.
Coming.
Good. I'm hungry.
Still a bit shaky, Sally reaches for one more jar. The label on this one reads, Wormswort.
A handful of wormswort just for distraction. It'll throw him off the trail for sure.
She drops down some wormswort, stirs the soup, then ladles out a bowlful. Cut to interior evil scientist laboratory day. The evil scientist is in his lab table, peering into the microscope and thinking, which for him involves lifting off the top of his skull and tickling and scrambling the brains inside. Sally carries in a tray holding his bowl of soup.
Lunch.
The scientist impatiently gestures over her. He replaces the top of his skull.
Excellent. Over here. Set it down.
She gingerly sets the tray in front of him. The scientist inhales and a deep sniff of the steam curling off the soup.
What's that? Worms what?
He glances suspiciously at Sally.
What trail are you trying to throw me off now?
Nothing. What are you talking about?
The scientist pushes the bowl of soup towards Sally.
Taste it.
But why? It's your lunch. There isn't much there in the first place.
Taste it.
No.
Why not?
I'm not hungry. What's wrong? I spent all morning on that soup. I thought you liked worm's wort.
There's nothing more suspicious than worm's wort. It distracts one from every other taste and smell.
He dips a spoon into the soup, then holds it up to Sally.
Until you taste it, I won't eat a bite.
Sally crumples.
But I have to go out. Something's happening out there.
Whatever it is, it's none of your concern.
He waves the spoon at her.
Eat!
She keeps her lips closed tight.
Then we'll both starve. An old man like me, who hardly has strength as it is. Me, without whom, me, your own father.
Can't you make other creations?
I could. Of course I could. But no one would be like you. I'll never understand how you can be so cold-hearted. How you can treat me this way, discarding me like.
It works. He wears Sally down.
All right, I'll eat it.
She closes her eyes and sips the soup off the spoon. Cut to exterior, town square, dusk. The mayor lies sprawled on top of his hearse, staring up at the sky for ideas. He's exhausted, as are the ensemble citizens of Halloween Land, exhausted from exhausting their alternatives when it comes to seeking Jack. The mayor lifts his heavy head and feebly asks,
Did anybody ask to dredge the lake?
A recumbent corpse sits up and nods.
This morning.
The corpse flops down again. The mayor lets his head fall back. In the distance, there's a bark.
Hear that?
What?
Now a deep rumbling off screen can just be heard, punctuated by another sharp bark off screen. Shh. They listen. More rumbling. Definite barks now.
Hero?
The sound gets louder, closer. The group revives. The mayor sits up. Before long, around the corner, comes an ecstatic Jack, driving a jaunty Christmasland snowmobile heavily laden with Christmasland memorabilia. A joyous Zero loops the loop around his master.
Look, it's Jack.
He's back,
I'm
guys.
back.
The Halloween Land citizens gape.
Where have you been?
I can't wait to tell all of you all about it. Mayor, call us a town meeting.
Cut to exterior Halloween streets evening. The mayor's hearse glides through town, the PA system blaring.
Town meeting tonight.
A hearse passes the deserted Gothic manse. Out streams the creatures, corpses, and other vampires. Cut to exterior cemetery evening. As the hearse passes and the announcement is heard, the gravestones open. Cut to exterior more Halloween streets evening. The hearse threads through town past the evil scientist's house. Cut to interior evil scientist laboratory evening, same time. Sally and the evil scientist are both asleep. The evil scientist snores, his head on the lab table beside the now empty bowl. Sally has fallen asleep on her way through the doorway, hat on, arm halfway into the sleeve of her coat.
Town meeting tonight.
Neither of them hears the announcement. Neither of them stirs. Their deep sleep goes undisturbed. Cut to exterior town hall night. The town hall is a tilted Chautauqua meeting house. We hear the noise of the crowd inside and see a few Halloween Land latecomers hurry in. Cut to interior town hall night. Jack stands at the podium on a stage at the end of the big meeting hall. Set up beside him is a table piled high with, at this point, nondescript objects. The murmuring crowd passes close to the stage. Of course, Sally and the evil scientist are absent. Jack holds up his hand for attention.
Listen, everyone. I want to tell you about where I've been.
He sings.
There were objects so peculiar they were not to be believed, all around things to tantalize my brain. It's a world unlike anything I've ever seen, and as hard as I try, I can't seem to describe like a most improbable dream. But you must believe when I tell you this. It's as real as my skull, and it does exist.
Turning to sort through the objects on the table, Jack speaks.
Here, let me show you.
The people press even closer.
Ooh.
Jack holds up a wrapped gift.
This is a thing called a present. The whole thing starts with a box.
A box? Is it steel?
Are there locks?
Is it filled with a pox?
A pox?
How delightful! A box!
Jack interrupts their excited babbling.
If you please.
He sings on.
Just a box with bright colored paper, and the whole thing topped with a bow.
A bow?
But why?
How ugly.
What's in it?
That's the point of the thing not to know.
Ooh, it's a bat.
Will it bend?
It's a rat.
Will it break?
Perhaps it's the head I found in the lake.
Listen now, you don't understand. That's not the point of Christmas Land.
Jack shakes his finger at them.
Now, pay attention.
He takes a Christmas stocking off his display table and sings again.
Now we pick up an oversized sock and paint it like this on the wall.
The irresponsible crowd bubbles over again.
Oh yes, does it still have a foot?
Let me see.
Let me look.
Rotten and covered with gook.
Jack is getting very frustrated.
Let me explain.
But to no avail.
Small toys?
Do they bite?
Do they snap?
Or perhaps they just spring out and scare girls and boys.
The mayor struts to the front of the audience.
What a splendid idea!
Hey, this Christmas sounds fun.
Why, I fully endorse it.
Let's try it at once.
But doubt immediately overtakes the mayor as Jack expresses his exasperation with the way things are going.
Everyone, please, now not so fast. There's something here that you don't quite grasp.
Confident face evaporating, the mayor sulks off. Jack looks down at the face tipped up toward him. In the expressions, puzzlement replaces eagerness.
Well, I may as well give them what they want.
Jack picks up his song again. The showman once more.
And the best, I must confess, I have saved for the last. For the ruler of this Christmas land is a fearsome king with a deep, mighty voice. At least that's what I've come to understand. And I've also heard it told that he's something to behold, like a lobster, huge and red, and sets out to slay with his reindeer on, carting bulging sacks with his big great arms. That is so, at least I've heard it said.
Listening to this, the people of Halloween Land are absolutely spellbound, rapt, and quiet for a change.
And on a dark, cold night, under full moonlight, he flies off into a fog like a vulture in the sky. And they call him Santa Claus.
At this conclusion, a delightful shudder runs through the audience.
Ooh.
They erupt into giddy chatter. Jack watches them from the stage, then turns to his display table and begins gathering up his many Christmas Land souvenirs.
Well, at least they're excited, but they don't understand the special kind of feeling in Christmas Land.
Jack shakes a Frosty the Snowman paperweight and dreamily watches the little snowflakes drift down.
Oh well.
Sighing, he packs his treasures. Cut to interior Jack's tower night. Jack happily decorates his room with the Christmas Land souvenirs. He festoons the electric chair with boughs of holly and a sprig of mistletoe atop the confining head cap. He tosses wreaths around the necks of the gargoyles that leer down from the corners of the ceiling. He ties a red bow on Zero. Later in bed, snuggled down wearing a nightcap, his pile of Christmas books beside him, Jack gazes critically around his room. It is overbright with electric lights. They're strung everywhere they can be strung. Tinsel sparkles glaringly. Lips pursed, Jack climbs out of bed and then pulls a string of lights out from behind an obscuring cobweb. Then isn't satisfied just to see them, but traces the intricate pattern of the cobwebs with them. He steps back for perspective, comes forward to make an adjustment, steps back to look again. He frowns, he scratches his head.
It's not quite right. Something's wrong. But what?
He paces and looks, but the mystery remains a mystery. Cut to interior evil scientist's house, day. Still suffering the effects of her own sleeping potion, a disheveled Sally drags through the house. The doorbell rings, off screen.
Ding dong.
Sally turns sluggishly.
Who could that be?
She shuffles toward it. Cut to interior evil scientist's front door, day moments later. Sally drags open the front door. There on the front step, to her utter astonishment, stands Jack. He has on a cheery face, but it is obvious to her that he is disturbed.
Good morning. You don't have to say that. You don't need to pretend. Not with me.
He looks quizzically at her.
Is the doctor in?
Oh, is it Sally?
Answering for her, Jack strides right in.
It's Jack Skellington.
Jack, what a surprise, my boy. A rare pleasure indeed. Come on back. It's in the laboratory.
Jack heads back. Sally looks tragically after. Cut to interior Jack's tower, dusk. Jack intently sets up a makeshift laboratory with equipment borrowed from the evil scientist. A microscope, mortar and pestle, petri dishes, a centrifuge, test tubes, beakers already filled with streaming liquid. Cut to interior evil scientist laboratory, night. As Sally shuffles timidly into the room, the scientist doesn't look up from his reading.
Jack Skellington was here this morning.
The scientist nods without looking up.
Uh-huh.
He stayed a long time.
The scientist nods again.
When he left, he took a lot of equipment with him.
He's conducting experiments of his own.
Experiments?
Suddenly afraid for Jack, Sally wheels around and stumbles out into the hall and up the rickety stairs. Cut to interior Sally's room, night moments later. Sally rushes in and hurries across to her window. He stands on tiptoe and strains to peer out. In the distance between two other buildings, she could just make out a corner of Jack's tower. A strange glow emanates from there. Sally stares for a long time, biting her lip with worry. Then decisively, Sally turns to her desk. She takes out a piece of paper and a pen and writes, reading aloud as she goes.
Dear doctor, please don't come after me again. Please let me go this time. I am all grown up and need to find my own life now. I hope you will understand, someday at least. Signed, Sally. P.S. I'll come visit very soon. P.P.S. There's fresh soup in the fridge. P.P.P.S. It isn't spiked.
She adds some X's and O's to the bottom of the letter, then sets it on the pillow of her bed where the doctor will be sure to find it. She takes a needle and spool of thread out of her drawer, stuffs them into her dress, then, without warning, jumps out her window with suicide abandoned. Cut to exterior evil scientist house, night, continuous time. Sally lands on the street outside, sprawled, torn apart, stuffing flowing out, stitches burst. In a moment, she flops upright. She pulls out the needle and threads the needle and, glancing every so often over her shoulder at the evil scientist's house, hurriedly proceeds to sew herself back together again. The job is done. She stashes the needle and thread wobbly. Her stitches are looser than the doctor's, gets to her feet, to go. Only she's sewn one of her legs on backwards, so that when she takes a step, her legs walk in opposite directions and she falls right over. She lets out a little moan of frustration. Swiveling, she looks back at the house, afraid of getting caught. She works even faster now, ripping out one of the stitches on the legs she replaced backwards and pasting it in front on facing forward. Back on facing forward. These stitches are really huge and ungainly. Still, they're substantial enough to allow her to get to her feet and totter away, though limping rather badly. Cut to interior Jack's tower, sunrise. Jack has worked through the night and continues to work, concentrating intently, doing his methodical best to study Christmas. He stares at an image of Santa Claus he's drawn on the chalkboard with giant red lobster hands and elaborate reindeer, then erases it. He leaps back and forth through the Christmas books, every so often stopping briefly on an image. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Frosty the Snowman, or an annotated illustration of the stockings are hung by the chimney with care. He scrapes a little bit of the shininess off the Christmas tree ball. With a mortar and pestle, he grinds the flakes flake of shininess to a sparkling powder, then sprinkles the powder over himself as if it were fairy dust. He strikes a pose and waits, but no transformation occurs. Another beat. He turns back to his work table, freshly determined.
Sooner or later, this Christmas will yield up its secrets to me. I'll crack it. I will.
He studies the strand of tinsel under the microscope. It reflects his own hollow eye socket back to him. Cut to exterior Jack's Tower day. Hiding in the shadows of the building across the street, Sally stares up at Jack's room. She pulls back out of sight once when the evil scientist passes, obviously looking for her, but steps out again as soon as he's gone. Other citizens of Halloween look up at Jack as they pass and shake their heads with concern, but only Sally keeps a vigil. Cut to interior Jack's Tower day later. Jack stands at the chalkboard while he scribbled elaborate formula. Good cheer plus roasting chestnuts plus Sandy Claus equals Christmas fun. Sugar plums plus Christmas tree plus Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer equals Christmas fun. Presents and mistletoes plus snowballs equals Christmas fun. If A equals B and B equals C and A equals C, then what isn't D? He feverishly crosses out some phrases, corrects others, substitutes, modifies. Cut to exterior Jack's Tower dusk. Using a pulley, Sally surreptitiously hoists up a basket of food. Cut to interior Jack's Tower dusk, continuous time. A toy steam engine now chugs along tracks laid around the perimeter of Jack's room. Puffing smoke, it hauls a string of open cars filled with Christmas dolls and toys. Jack adds more toys to the tiny train cars as the tiny train cars pass him. He looks up at the odd scraping sound of Sally's food basket knocking against the window. At the window, he unhooks the basket and lifts it in. Inside is dinner, lovingly wrapped in a napkin. A skeleton chicken, a couple of apple cores, and a cold bottle of newt juice. Jack leans out the window to see who sent this to him. His gaze locks with Sally's far below. A beat. He nods his thanks. She waves, slowly, in tragic sympathy. He pulls back into his tower. On the ground, Sally keeps staring faithfully up at Jack's window. In his tower, Jack dances around the Christmas tree, giddily tossing on decorations. Cut to exterior Jack's Tower night. Sally is back at her post across the street, watching Jack's window, where a tall candle burns. As if in time lapse, the candle burns all the way down while the night passes into exterior Jack's Tower day. Sally sleeps curled in the doorway across the street. She wakes to a small crowd gathering beneath Jack's window. Jack's obsession. Two vampires.
Something's up with Jack.
A third vampire adds his voice.
Don't know if we're ever gonna get him back.
Flanked by two corpses, a slathering beast lumbers up, singing.
He's all alone up there, looking locked away inside.
The corpse on his right joins in. Beast and corpse.
Never says a word.
And both corpses and the beast sing.
I hope he hasn't died.
And the whole crowd sings.
Something's up with Jack.
Jack. Something's up with Jack. Something's up with Jack.
Sally stays back, separate from the crowd, silent. Cut to interior tower, day, same time. Jack stands in the center of his room, a demon possessed, surrounded by Christmas mayhem. The glittery decorations and toys and books strewn all about him. He sings.
Christmas time is buzzing in my skull. Will it let me be? I cannot tell. There are so many things I cannot grasp. When I think I've got it, then at last. Through my bony fingers, it does slip. Like a snowflake in a fiery grip. Something's here I'm quite not getting, though I try, I keep forgetting. Like a memory long since past. Heard an instinct, gone in a flash. What does it mean? What does it mean? In these little bric-a-brac, a secret waiting to be cracked. These dolls and toys confuse me so, confound it all, I love it though. Simple objects, nothing more, but something's hidden through a door. Though I do not have the key, something's there I cannot see. What does it mean? What does it mean? I've read these Christmas books so many times. I know the stories and I know the rhymes. I know the Christmas carols all by heart. My skull's so full, it's tearing me apart. As often as I've read them, something's wrong. So hard to put my bony finger on.
A thought strikes Jack. He takes a new tack. He whirls around singing.
Or perhaps it's really not as deep as I've been led to think. Am I trying much too hard? Of course I've been too close to see the answers right in front of me. It's simple, really very clear, like music drifting in the air, invisible, but everywhere. Just because I cannot see it doesn't mean I can't believe it.
Enthusiasm takes the place of torment. Joy lightens Jack's tortured soul.
You know, I think this Christmas thing, it's not as tricky as it seems. And why should they have all the fun? It should belong to anyone. Not anyone, in fact, but me. Why, I could make a Christmas tree. And there's no reason I can find that I couldn't handle Christmas time. I bet I could improve it too. And that's exactly what I'll do.
Jack hurries to the window and throws it open.
Eureka! This year, Christmas is ours!
Below, the crowd is relieved.
Ah.
They smile up at their beloved Skeleton Jack, all except for Sally.
Oh, Jack, now what fever has engulfed you? Your poor sensitive mind.
Sally stares up at him.
Intermission time. Woohoo!
Hey.
Went out a little Spanish flea.
All right, you guys are doing awesome. Wow, and this is flowing fast. All right, that'll be good for call times tomorrow, and you and people in later area codes, zip codes. But yes, we'll see you guys in about 5-ish minutes. All right, have a great break. See you guys soon. Woo! Kicking butt, killing it.
Welcome back.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the
haunted
haunted
mansion.
table
Oh.
read. Is this haunted room actually stretching, or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. This chamber has no windows and no doors.
That's a
Which leads
really
to
good.
this chilling challenge to find a way out. Of course, there's always my way.
Awesome.
Is that supposed to be like the Haunted Mansion? Because it
Yes, it
is
is the
supposed to
best ride at Disney, no doubt.
Yeah, because I haven't actually every time I've rode the Haunted Mansion, I haven't actually ridden the normal one. The first and only time I've ever been to Disney has been during Christmas season, and during Christmas and Halloween, they switch the Haunted Mansion to be Nightmare Before Christmas themed.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard of that. It sounds really cool.
so like, yeah, that is the only way I've experienced the Haunted Mansion, when they change it to Nightmare Before Christmas.
You know what? I actually did something very naughty the last time I was on the Haunted Mansion ride.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did, Jacob. I can see your look. Yeah, what did you do? We actually during our tour of Disneyland, after we performed, we got some time in the park, and then as we were about to leave, one of our buses broke down because we were carrying like 100+ kids, so we had 2 buses, and so we got an extra night at Disneyland. So one of the things I went to do was go ride the haunted.
Wait, we lost you for a second. One of the things you want to do is go ride the Haunted Mansion, and then
Yeah, can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, one of the things I did in that time we had at the park was go ride the Haunted Mansion again, and this wasn't exactly illegal. At least I don't think it was illegal, but I was sitting there with friends, and all of a sudden during the ride, I howled like a werewolf in the dark and scared the crap out of people. I could hear people crying and whimpering.
That's beautiful.
It's
You are a
not
legend.
unusual.
Very
And
nice.
sometimes I still howl like a werewolf when I'm visiting my parents, and I think I scare neighbors.
Well, here in Halloween Town, you can howl all you want. All right. We'll get started. So, if everybody's ready, we'll pick up. Here we go. Exterior Town Hall Day. A line of waiting Halloweeners extends out of the entrance doors. Oh, the word Christmas buzzes in the air. Sally stands in line with everyone else, somewhere near the back, just behind the members of the street band. She practices what she's going to say to Jack when it's her turn.
Jack, you must let go of this insanity. Don't make this mistake. Taking over Christmas is no way to fill the gaping hole you feel inside.
Sally cowers as she hears the mayor call.
Dr. Finkelstein to the front of the line. Dr. Finkelstein, step right inside.
Sally ducks out of sight behind the fury behemoth in back of her as the evil scientist hobbles by, looking for Sally. He peers through his pincers at the faces he passes.
Dr. Finkelstein, we're looking for Dr. Finkelstein.
The evil scientist hobbles through the front door. Cut to interior town hall. Day, continuous time. At the end of the hall is Jack. To one side of him is his Christmas treasure trunk filled to the brim with dolls and toys and decorations. On the other side, the mayor sits at a table. Before him is an open scroll, a long list. With his raven feather pen, the mayor enthusiastic marks off items and occasionally scribbles notes, forging ahead with the making of Christmas. He and Jack are giving out assignments to the citizens of Halloween Land. At the moment, Jack discusses doll making with a corpse of large vampires. One of the vampires cradles an example of a baby doll in the palm of his hand, and he rocks it Its eyes close as if it's lying down, but open when it's brought upright. The doll also cries, bleeding sadly. The vampire makes a face at one another.
What kind of a noise is that for a baby to make?
The other vampire shrugs.
Can you handle it?
We can improve it too.
I knew it.
The vampires scurry off, still studying the baby doll, looking for other improvements. Jack turns to the evil scientist.
Doctor, just the man I wanted to see.
Jack pulls a book out of his trunk. He leafs through it to a picture of Santa's reindeers hooked up to a sleigh and shows the evil scientist.
I need some of these.
The evil scientist peers closely at the picture of a reindeer in Jack's book, making quick calculations.
These? Their construction should be very simple, I think.
The mayor bellows again, practically in the evil scientist's ear.
Dr. Finkelstein.
Right here.
The mayor glares at him resentfully.
It's about time.
The mayor makes a big show of checking off the doctor's name. Next, 3 mischievous trick-or-treaters scuttle up to the mayor's table. They're small but insidious professionals. Their name are Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
We're here. You sent for us.
Specifically.
My name.
Lock.
Shock. Barrel.
The mayor announces the little trick-or-treaters.
Boogie Boogie Boys, to see you, Jack.
Excellent.
The evil scientist shuffles off with the book. The mayor studies his list again.
What a smashing success our Christmas will be.
Jack waves Lock, Shock, and Barrel over.
I have a very important, very delicate job for you.
They come close and huddle before him. Jack whispers his plan. They titter, half whispering themselves. Cut to exterior street outside town hall, day later. The 3 little trick-or-treaters tiptoe out, still teetering and whispering. They sing.
Kidnap Mr. Santa Claus?
Well, I want to do it.
Let's draw straws.
Jack said we should work together.
3 of a kind.
Birds of a feather.
Now and forever.
Whee!
They scoot out of sight and around a corner. Exterior outskirts of town, day later. Lock, Shock, and Barrel head toward their digs out of town.
Kidnap these Santa Claus, lock him up real tight, throw away the key, and then turn off all the lights.
First, we're gonna set some bait inside a messy trap and wait. When he comes a sniffing, we will snap the trap and close the gate.
Wait, I've got a better plan to catch this big old red lobster man. Let's pop him in a boiling pot, and when he's done, we'll boil him up.
Exterior Oogie Boogie's dungeon, day later. Lock, Shock, and Barrel arrive at the ominous stinking place.
Kidnap the Santa Claus. Throw him in a box.
For 90 years
and see if he talks.
Then Mr. Oogie Boogie Man can take the whole thing over them. He'll be so pleased, I do declare, that he will cook him in rare.
They zip down the cellar stairs.
Whee!
The dank, crumbling stairs lead to interior Lock, Shock, and Barrel's part of Boogie's dungeon day. One in their corner of the dungeon, the little trick-or-treaters once start to gather the things that they'll need for their job.
That we take a can and aim it at his door and then knock 3 times, and when he answers, Santa Claus will be no more.
You're so stupid. Think now. If we blow him up to smithereens, we may lose some pieces, and then Jack will beat us black and green.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, throw him in a bag, throw him in the ocean, then see if he is sad.
There's a bone-chilling stirring in the next room. All 3 of the little trick-or-treaters react. As one, they shoot over the corner furthest away from the sounds and lower their voices.
Because Mr. Legoogie Boogie is the meanest guy around. If we're on his boogie list, I'd get out of town.
He'll be so pleased by our success that he'll reward us too, I bet. Perhaps he'll make us his special brew of snake and spider stew.
We're his little henchmen and we take our job with pride.
We do our best to please him and stay on his good side.
I wish my cohorts weren't so dumb.
I'm not the dumb one.
You're no fun.
Shut up and listen.
The other two stop.
I've got something. Listen now. This one's real good. You'll see. We'll send a present to his door. Upon there'll be a note to read.
Now in this box, we'll wait and hide until his curiosity entices him to look inside.
And then
we'll have him. 1, 2, 3.
Then we'll have him. 1, 2, 3.
Observe it again. Playfully collect their last few necessities.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, beat him with a stick, lock him up for 90 years, see what makes him tick.
They head back up the cellar steps. Exterior outskirts of the town. Day later, the 3 trick-or-treaters race through the deserted lot.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, tie him in a knot, put him in a coffin,
how we'd like to see him rot.
Exterior Halloween Land Cemetery. Day later, Lock, Shock, and Barrel skip among the tombstones.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, chop him into bits. Mr. Oogie Boogie is sure to get his kicks.
Exterior edge of the forest. Day later, Lock, Shock, and Barrel head to the forest that Jack wandered through.
Kidnap the Santa Claus, see what we will see. Lock him up in a cage and throw away the key.
They reach the very edge of the forest. They are still in the light. One step ahead, it is dark and gloomy. Locke, the natural-born leader of the 3, stops in his tracks in the last possible light. The other 2 bump into him in succession. Then all 3 crouch down at once, beat, simultaneously giggling. They suddenly streak forward into the woods. In a moment, are swallowed up in the pitch black. The only evidence of them left is the sound of their giggles. The giggles recede, then fade. Exterior Town Hall. Dusk. No part of the line stands outside now. The few citizens left still waiting for assignments stand. Interior Town Hall. Dusk. Continuous time. A very anxious Sally stands at the head of the line, in a panic, going over and over what she intends to say.
Jack, you must let go of this insanity. This is a mistake.
Behind her, in the fury behemoth waits patiently. Jack works with the street band, demonstrating. He shakes a harness piece, studded with sleigh bells. The bells jingle cheerfully.
Okay, now you.
The members of the band rattle their bones in response, shaking legs and arms, echoing the jingle of the bells, but with their own distinctive hollow clink. Jack laughs and enormously pleased.
Perfect. Now let's try this.
Using various jingling bells, Jack shakes out the tune to Jingle Bells. The band clanks the tune right back, phrase for phrase. Sally watches with an increasing sense of doom as her turn with Jack nears. Jack heartily shakes hands and backslaps the 3 members of the street band. They head off practicing.
Thanks. You're the absolute best.
He turns to Sally, who stands frozen, wide-eyed, her heart a wild bird trap in a cage of her chest. He smiles encouragingly at her.
Hi. I've saved a really special job for you.
He gestures for her to step closer. Stiffly, she does.
I want you to be the one who makes my Sandy Claus outfit.
She looks stunned. Jack nods eagerly and pats her, mistaking her silence for awe and at the responsibility.
I know you can do it.
He enthusiastically proceeds to describe the costume.
It's bright red, the reddest red you can imagine, both the jacket and the pair of pants. The boots are black. There's a big black belt that goes around the middle. Oh, and there's white trim on the cuffs and the collar.
Swallowing hard, Sally looks up at him. Her wide-eyed, moist, her voice is tiny.
Are you sure, Jack?
Jack suddenly looks confused. He stops mid-gesture.
Am I sure?
Brow, I can't say it. He stares at the ceiling and thinks. Sally holds her breath, hoping. Finally, Jack shrugs.
Well, the trim is traditionally white from everything I've studied, but if you think green would give it more dash, I trust your judgment. I know you'll do a great job. Whatever you decide.
At that moment, Lock, Shock, and Barrel race in, dragging behind them a big sack with something squirming inside.
Jack! We got him!
We got him.
Jack strides excitedly to meet them, leaving Sally. Sally flees, mortified, miserable. She had hoped to help Jack, to spare him the pain of his enterprise, to save him from himself. Floppy and weak, her legs lost some stuffing in her jump from the evil scientist's window. She runs as best she can, arms and legs pinwheeling. Lock, Shock, and Barrel, in a frenzy of giggling, open the big sack, and who should jump out but the Easter Bunny? Jack's face
What's up, Doc?
drops. He turns on the 3 trick-or-treaters.
That's not Sandy Claus.
It isn't.
Not Sandy Claus.
The 3 shrink back.
We followed your instructions.
Through the door.
In the tree.
Which door?
The door.
We'll take him back.
Jack turns to the Easter Bunny and speaks loudly and slowly to him, hoping to be understood.
I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, sir.
He scowls at the 3 trick-or-treaters.
Shall I send somebody else for Sandy Claus?
No.
We can handle it.
We'll get it right this time.
For sure.
I told you, there's more than one door. Sandy Claus is behind the door shaped like this.
He holds up a cutout of a Christmas tree.
Got it.
They stuff the Easter Bunny back in the sack and hurry off.
Take him home first and apologize again. Be careful with Sandy Claus when you catch him. Treat him nicely.
They scurry out the double doors. Interior Christmas factory another day. Sally sits at a sewing machine, objectively stitching Jack's Santa Claus suit. Finished with a long seam, she holds up the suit to see how it's coming along and shudders in its cheerful bright red glare.
If only he would come back to his senses.
Shaking her head, she sets the suit back in place to stitch up another seam. But Sally is alone in her distress. Beyond her, the little Halloween factory gladly hums along, making Christmas. Making Christmas song, Jack supervises and approves as the residents of Halloween Land busily manufacture the Halloween version of Christmas toys, dolls, decorations, doing their well-intentioned best to create the warmest, most magical Christmas yet. The results of their eager efforts, unbeknownst to them, often painfully miss the mark. Barbie's a voodoo doll. The horrible-looking demon that springs up from the Jack-in-the-Box has a sweet decorative bow on it. Strings of electric lights are composed of tiny skulls through which the colored lights gleam. Meantime, the evil scientist assembles skeleton reindeer from piles of bones. He also takes the opportunity to assemble himself a new and improved Sally. He animates her and she smiles at him. He is pleased to assist him at his work in animating the reindeer. While Christmas is being manufactured in Halloween Land, it is also being manufactured in Interior Christmas Town, day, same time. The factory looks like it is constructed by a master gingerbread housemaker, all dandy jigsaw angles and bulbous shapes and filigree. There's a calendar that tells the number of days left till Christmas. It says 1. At a quaint conveyor belt, Santa's elves work their hardest, assembling the Christmas toys we most sentimentally associate with Christmas. Among them, a cherubic baby doll in bonnets and gowns, gorgeously painted wooden rocking horses, wrapping the beautiful gifts in colorful papers, elaborate bows, labeling packages. Exterior reindeer school day. Santa's team of sleigh-pulling reindeer practices roof-jumping techniques. One young buck lands with a splat and must try again. Interior Santa's cottage day. Miss Claus in the kitchen while Santa Claus sits in the big armchair of a roaring fire. He is checking a long list and checking it twice when the doorbell rings. Setting aside his list, Santa hoists himself to his feet and slowly crosses the door. He opens it and sees Lock, Shock, and Barrel. Crouched on the front stoop, they cry their little banshee cry and leap at his face with their sack wide open, bagging him. All goes
Trick or treat.
Cut to exterior Halloween Land Town Square, Christmas Eve. The town has been festooned with the Christmas decorations. Presents are being loaded into a coffin sleigh. The evil scientist oversees harnessing up of the skeleton reindeer. He glowers over at Sally, morosely helps Jack with the red coat of his Santa Claus outfit. He already wears the pants and boots. Jack is positively thrilled with the costume.
It's perfect. It couldn't be more perfect.
Jack laughs, his version of a booming laugh. Sally pulls out her needle and makes last-minute adjustments at one of the cuffs. Then she sticks the needle back behind her ear where it will be handy. Jack puts his white beard and turns eagerly to check at his reflection. In the polished black side of the coffin sleigh, he grins at himself. Then in a moment his smile fades. He furrows his brow. He peers closely at himself.
Something's missing. But what? I've got the beard, the coats, the boots, the belt.
His musing is interrupted by the commotion. Lock, Shock, and Barrel cause as they scuttle into view, out of breath, struggling with their enormous sack.
This time we bagged him.
This time we really did.
He sure is big, Jack.
And heavy.
Reaching Jack, they dump the sack and reveal the prize inside, untying the knot and peeling back the sides, uncovering the legendary Sandy Claus.
Sandy Claus, himself, in person. I can hardly believe it. What a pleasure it is to meet you.
Santa blinks. Jack grabs his hand and shakes it.
Why, you have hands. You don't have claws at all.
Santa looks around to see where he has been brought. He gapes in horror at the Christmas decorations everywhere, at the coffin sleigh, at the reindeer, at the staring residents of Halloweenland, at Jack before him in what looks like very much like a deflated version of his own outfit. The shock renders him speechless.
Surprised, aren't you? I knew you would be, but you haven't seen anything yet.
Jack pauses for a beat, for impact, then springs the good news.
You don't need to have another worry about Christmas this year. Not a single care. We've seen to every detail.
Santa's eyes go wide, and he begins to sputter, searching for the words that could conceivably express the depths of his feelings. Sally looks on, horrified.
Consider this a vacation, Sandy. A reward. You've worked hard for a long time. It's your turn to take it easy. Leave everything to me. You're going to be so pleased. You just relax and enjoy yourself while you're here. See that he's comfortable, boys.
Lock, Shock, and Barrel grab a hold of Santa and drags him off again, but Jack stops them.
Just a second, fellas.
Jack plucks the red cap off of Santa's head.
Of course. That's what I'm missing. You don't mind if I borrow it, do you? Thanks.
He pops Santa's cap on his own head. It is too big and droops charmingly over one of Jack's big eye sockets. He grins the biggest grin yet.
There must be something. There must be something. There must be something I can do to stop him. I know. I'll make him some tea.
She rushes off. Exterior Halloweenland streets Christmas Eve a little later. Lock, Shock, and Barrel strain to push, pull, haul, carry the astonished, still sputtering Santa Claus through town.
Where?
To Oogie Boogie's place, of course. There isn't any place in the whole world more comfortable than that, is there?
No, there isn't.
And Jack said to make him comfortable, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
The three gleefully giggle their hideous giggles. Exterior town square, Christmas Eve later, the mayor gives Jack the grandest possible Halloween send-off.
Think of us as you soar triumphantly through the sky, outshining any star, your silhouette a dark blot breaking from the perfect circle of the moon. We who are left behind here will surely be thinking of you.
Jack stands tall beside his sleigh. The street band rattles a delicate jingle bells. The townspeople look on proudly. Sally hurries back with a steaming cup of her special sleeping potion tea. The mayor blabs on.
You who are our pride, you who are our glory, you who have frightened millions into an early grave, you who have devastated.
His speech is suddenly interrupted by the descent of a thick Halloween fog. The fog swirls around the assembled crowd. It licks at the mayor. It threatens to engulf Jack, the sleigh, the skeleton reindeer.
Oh no.
Sally gazes about her happy wander. The sight of the fog brings a wide, welcoming look of hope to her face. She dumps out the tea. It eats a hole in the ground. She won't be needing that after all. The fog swallows everyone.
I'll never get the sleigh off the ground in this. The reindeer can't see an inch in front of their noses.
This fog's as thick as
jelly brains.
Yeah.
There go my hopes, my plans, my dreams, the tall tales, the legends, the lies.
There's a thin, ghostly bark off screen. It belongs to Zero. His little jack-o'-lantern nose floats in a tiny beacon penetrating the fog.
There goes Christmas.
No, Zero, not now. Down, boy.
After a long beat.
Hey, wait a minute.
We hear the sound of rummaging, of Jack muttering.
Where did I put that book? I know it's in here somewhere. Here it is.
We hear the pages turn back and forth. Then, with characteristic melodramatic flourish, Jack recites,
Zero, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Barking, Zero swoops with pure joy. The crowd cheers. Zero floats to the front of the sleigh and takes position. His jack-o'-lantern nose glows brighter and brighter, soon illuminating the whole sleigh. Jack leaps aboard.
We're off!
With a crack of his skeleton whip, Jack and his ghostly entourage are instantly aloft. In a moment, they are gone. Sally gapes in the swirling fog. She stares miserably into the cup she emptied, then back into the fog-choked sky. Sally's song. Yes, no? The street band materializes out of the fog. They listen to her mournful song. Moved, they accompany her. Exterior, starry, starry night, Christmas Eve. Jack's coffin, sleigh, whiplashes wildly through the glittering night sky, a giddy, out-of-control amusement park ride. At the front of the sleigh, Zero exuberantly howls. Far below, peaceful little houses dot the landscape, innocently waiting for Christmas. Laughing at his best booming Santa laugh, Jack begins his descent. Exterior suburbia, Christmas Eve later. The coffin sleigh crash lands on the roof of a little house, making such a racket that it wakes the sleeping family inside. The baby cries bloody murder, and we can hear the voice of the wife urging her husband to investigate. A big grin slashed across the face. Jack pops up of the wreckage. He gleefully slithers over to the chimney and jumps inside. Interior little house, Christmas Eve later. Jack's skeletal hand drops hideous little toys in the Christmas stockings hung up along the fireplace mantelpiece. The hysterical voices off screen continue. Get the gun.
We don't have a gun. Well, we'll grab something.
And as does the crying of the baby close by. Jack spins around to see a little boy staring up at him. At the sight of Jack, the little boy looks stunned.
Merry Christmas!
Jack springs over to the boy. The little boy stands frozen in place. The chaos persists.
Where is he? He's on his bed. No! Check downstairs. No, you check downstairs.
Overhead, footsteps thump to and fro. The baby still bawls. Jack bends down to the little boy.
And what is your name?
The boy doesn't answer, doesn't move. He just keeps staring.
I bet I have a special present for you anyway.
Jack fishes into his big sack of toys. He pulls a shrunken head out by the hank of hair and hands it to the little boy.
There you go, Sonny.
With a
ho!
Yes, with a screeching ho ho ho, Jack springs back to the fireplace and whooshes up the chimney to the exterior rooftop. Christmas Eve continuous time. Jack leaps onto the remains of his coffin sleigh and off he flies. Interior little house, Christmas Eve, same time. Still standing where Jack left him, the little boy stares morosely into the grotesque face of the shrunken head. Footsteps charge down the steps and pound down the hall to the living room doorway. Both parents at once, we hear their horrified reactions, their blood-curdling screams. Exterior rooftops. Jack leaps nimbly from rooftop to rooftop, merrily delivering presents, blissfully unaware of the havoc he is causing. Exterior Halloween Land. Several residents of Halloween Land eagerly crowd around the witch's cauldron to watch Jack, whose giddy journey above the rooftops is reflected in the bubbling brew. The gathering oohs and ahs and applauds. Sally is not among those watching. A shriek of joy makes her peek forlornly out from behind the distant building. She pulls back out of sight. Interior various houses, Christmas Eve, same time. Doors are locked. Bolts are thrown. Telephones are dialed.
Hello, police?
A baby doll is cradled in the lap of a little girl. For no apparent reason, the baby doll's eyes suddenly open. The little girl shrieks and throws the doll off her lap. The man-eating wreath snakes off the door from where it hangs, sending out tentacles and tendrils that wrap around the legs of a kissing couple, yanking them clear off their feet. A vampire teddy bear smiles as it totters across the room. The tracks of monstrous toy train slither around the room, chasing retreating children. Exterior neighborhood. Jack gleefully continues delivering Christmas, mistaking the irate screams and shaking fists of the citizens below for gratitude. He waves and calls.
You're welcome!
Interior police station. The several phones lined up at the sergeant's desk ring off the hook. We see the sergeant as a blue uniform, a big band. He answers the phone after phone.
Police station. Where'd you get him? As fast as we can. Police station. I know. A skeleton. Where are you? Right? Just calm down. Turn off all the lights. Make sure the doors are locked. Hello? Police station.
Exterior radio tower. The news broadcast from all the tall radio tower.
Someone parading as Santa Claus is ruining Christmas. Reports are pouring in from all over the globe that an important is shamelessly impersonating Santa Claus and
Exterior Halloween Land, Christmas Eve, same time. Sally picks up the broadcast in the sewing needle she stuck behind her ear.
Mocking and mangling this joyous holiday. Gruesome nightmares have replaced the visions of sugar plums that should be dancing in our children's heads. Whole families scream in terror. The authorities assure us that at this moment, the military is mobilizing to stop whoever it is that is perpetuating this heinous crime. The monster must and will be stopped. Santa Claus, wherever you are, come back and set things right. The whole world is in a panic.
Hearing this, Sally too is in a panic. She runs one way, then the other.
I've got to help Jack.
She runs off. Interior Boogie Woogie's jail. Santa is behind bars, tied to a chair in this dank, dripping, dark hellhole that is Oogie Boogie's jail.
Let me out! Let me out! I've got to get out of here now! It's Christmas!
Lock, Shock, and Barrel watch, giggling.
You better be quiet, Sandy.
Maybe he doesn't know.
He has to know.
And everybody knows about...
He's interrupted by a fearsome groaning. All three of the little trick-or-treaters whip around at the sound.
Uh-oh.
They hightail it out of there. Oogie Boogie is on his way.
Oh my, is it my turn?
It is.
Well, what have we here? Santa Claus, huh? Ooh, I'm really scared. So you're the ones everyone's talking about? You're joking. I can't believe my eyes. You're joking me. You can't be the right guy. He's ancient. He's ugly. I don't know which is worse. I might just put a seam now if I don't die laughing first. When Mr. Oogie Boogie says there's trouble close at hand, you better pay attention now, 'cause I'm the boogeyman. And if you are to shaken, there's something very wrong, 'cause this may be the last time you hear the boogie song. Whoa, 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 I'm the Oogie Boogie Man.
Release me now, for you must face the dire consequences. The children are expecting me, so please come to your senses.
You're joking. You're joking. I can't believe my ears. Would someone shut this fella up? I'm drowning in my tears. It's funny. I'm laughing. You really are too much. And now, with your permission, I'm gonna do my stuff.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna do the best I can. Oh, the sound of rolling dice to me is music in the air. 'Cause I'm a gambling boogeyman, although I don't play fair. It's much more fun, I must confess, when lives are on the line. Not mine, of course, but yours, oh boy, now that'll do just fine.
Release me fast, for you will have to answer for this heinous act.
Oh, brother, you're something. You put me in a spin, 'cause you aren't comprehending the position that you're in. It's hopeless. You're finished. You haven't got a prayer, 'cause I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie, and you ain't going nowhere.
Oogie Boogie is an enormous, shapeless sack, bulging with creepy crawlies. He rolls and oozes rather than walks. As Oogie Boogie's song concludes, a shapely female leg that we recognize as Sally's, wearing a high, high heel and exposed up to the garter, eases seductively into view outside the jailhouse doorway. When there isn't an immediate reaction, the toe taps impatiently. Oogie hears.
Oh.
He turns and spots the beautifully turned leg. The leg kicks Can-Can once, twice.
Ooh la la.
He chuckles to himself and slathers, relishing the anticipation. He rolls ever so slowly toward the enticement, at the doorway, leaving the prisoner completely behind. Oogie Boogie's jail. Meantime, the rest of Sally hops on her remaining leg around the outside of Boogie's jail, to the back. She peeks through the tiny barred window to see inside, where Santa Claus bucks in his chair, desperate to escape.
Sandy.
He whips around and is about to holler.
Shh. I'm here to help you.
Get me out of here!
Sally reaches in through the bars, straining to touch Santa Claus. He tries to move the chair toward her, but try as he might, he can't. He is ready to burst with frustration.
It's no use.
You discourage too easily. Just hang on.
She pulls off both her arms. The left yanks the right out of the socket, popping the stitches, and the right yanks the left. Santa swallows his scream of horror as Sally's unattached arms crawl through the bars and into the cell with him. One arm scuttles to his ropes and begins picking at the knots, while the other arm scoots out of the cell behind Oogie Boogie, who still oozes towards the leg at the door. Military installation. The big guns fire into the night sky. Exterior starry night, Christmas Eve same time. Far below the guns fire, Jack mistakes the artillery for fireworks.
Doesn't that look fun, Zero? They're celebrating. They're thanking us for doing such a good job.
Zero yaps happily and, nose in the air, swings gleefully back and forth in the harness at the head of the sleigh, narrowly missing being blasted to smithereens by a well-guided missile. It was only the exuberant swinging that saved him. His eyes goggle. He bristles mid-air and begins to flail.
Whoa! Careful down there, you guys. That was a pretty close shave. It's okay, boy. Head higher.
Zero regains control and flies up. The explosions below blast on. Oogie Boogie's jail. Santa's own hands are now free, attacking the rest of the knots that bind him, while Sally's stray hand picks the lock on the cellar door. In a moment, he is free. In another moment, the door swings open, Grabbing Sally's arm, Santa lumbers out of the door toward freedom. Only Oogie Boogie himself stands in the way. Oogie Boogie has just reached the door. Sally's crawling hand has almost reached him, making less of vicious noises. Oogie Boogie peeks out of the door to see what the body that belongs to such a gorgeous leg might possibly look like, and is surprised to find nothing there. No body at all.
Huh?
It dawns on him that he's been had. Roaring, he wheels around only to see Santa is loose and coming toward him. He roars louder and starts forward to set things right when Sally's hand, the one that had been tailing him, leaps up and pulls the end of the thread on the sack that is Oogie Boogie's shapeless body. The thread pulls, leaving a gaping opening in Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie wails as his gruesome contents immediately fly, crawl, slither, writhe, jump out. The bag itself collapses to the ground, empty,
My bugs!
silent.
My bugs! My bugs!
My bugs! My
Bang.
bugs! My bugs! My bugs!
The rest of Sally, torso, head, one leg, hops into view around the corner. Santa grabs up Sally's arm, still holding the string, and is about to sweep up her other leg and the rest of her when there is a sudden roar behind him. Oogie Boogie returned to life. The empty sack bag opens up with the suction from hell and sucks Santa and Sally inside. Black.
I'm back, y'all.
Starry, starry night. Jack and his ghostly team now frantically but successfully dodge a barrage of missiles, only in the next instant to suffer a direct hit and explode. The explosion's huge, fiery. Halloween Land. The explosion is being simulcast to the group of Halloween townspeople in the witch's cauldron. They gape at the fireball in confusion and disbelief. The mayor turns away. Ever the politician, his two faces, compete to be the first to speak. One of them wins.
I knew this Christmas thing was a bad idea. I had a feeling in my bones.
The mayor climbs aboard his hearse and is driven off. Exterior starry, starry night, clutching a burning bag of toys. Jack falls. He holds onto Zero, who turns into a whimpering parachute. Jack, voice choked, cries out in anguished sincerity.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Jack lets go of Zero and plummets down to earth. Exterior cemetery, Christmas Eve. Continuous time. Jack lands hard, bones clattering. Zero floats down beside him. Interior Oogie Boogie's jail. Santa and Sally, more or less stuck together again, are cornered by Oogie Boogie. He is in the process of snatching the escaped parts of himself out of the air and stuffing them back in.
Now, what am I going to do with you two?
You try anything and you just wait till Jack gets back.
The mayor's hearse passes with a blaring announcement.
Jack has been blown to smithereens. Christmas is over. Skeleton Jack is no more.
Oogie Boogie chuckles. He leers at Sally.
You were saying?
He grabs a squiggly something and shoves it back into his sack. Exterior cemetery, Christmas Eve, continuous action. For a long time, Jack doesn't move. He lies flat, sprawled face down across a couple of tombstones. Finally, he hauls himself up into a large stone cross.
I thought I could be Santa. I thought I could be better than Santa. And what did I do instead? Instead, I killed Christmas.
Crumpling, Jack weeps. Zero, ever faithful, makes himself a hanky and wipes Jack's wet eyes.
What have I done? What have I done? How could I be so blind? All this lust, where was I? Spoiled all, everything's gone all wrong. What have I done? What have I done? find a deep cave to hide in. In a million years they'll find me only dust and a plaque that reads, "Here lies poor old Jack." But I never intended all this madness, never. And nobody really understood. How could they? That all I ever wanted was to bring them something great. Why does nothing ever turn out like it should? Well, what the heck? I went and did my best, and by God, I really tasted something swell. And for a moment, why, I even touched the sky, and at least I left some stories they can tell. I did. And for the first time since I don't remember when, I felt just like my old bony self again. And I, Jack, the Pumpkin King. That's right. I am the Pumpkin King. And I just can't wait until next Halloween, because I've got some new ideas that will really make them scream. And by God, I'm really gonna give it all my might. Uh-oh. I hope there's still time to set things right. Sandy Claus.
Jack sang as if his heart had broken in two. He is at his lowest of lows, yet being Jack, being irreprensibly buoyant, by the end of the song, he has completely worked himself back up from grief very nearly to exuberance. He must save Santa. He must restore Christmas as it should be. He opens a tombstone, lifting it up as easily as if it were the door to a storm cellar, and filled with determination runs back toward Halloween land. Interior Oogie Boogie's jail. Santa and Sally dangle furiously above a pit. They've been bound and gagged as they writhe in terror. From the murky depths below, skeleton crocodiles leap up at them, jaws snapping hungrily. Watching Oogie Boogie snickers, he lowers Santa and Sally closer.
Scrawny old things. They haven't eaten in centuries. I'd say it's about time to put some meat on their bones, don't you?
Suddenly, there's a crash behind him, the crash of the door being kicked in, and there stands Jack.
I should say so.
Jack sweeps Boogie off his feet and holds him up above the pit himself. Immediately, the terrorizer is terrified.
Jack, how great to see you. We were all worried about you. I was just giving our guests here a tour of the place. Yeah, I told them it was dangerous, but they insisted on a closer look. What could I do?
He smiles sheepishly.
How about the whole show?
He dumps Oogie Boogie over the edge, but delicately keeps a hold of a choice thread. As he falls, Oogie Boogie unravels completely. His insides escape into the dark, with the sounds of wings flapping and the feet skittering, and in the end, all that's left of his shapeless sack of a body is one long thread.
I'll be back! No one can afford tickets to my bash!
In the pit below, the crocodile skeletons scoot around, jaws clapping, having themselves a feast. Later, Jack finishes untying Santa and Sally. He works quickly. He ungags Sally.
We heard you'd been pulverized to bone dust. For what I did, I deserve to be bone dust.
Jack looks away from Santa's angry gaze. He takes off Santa's cap and replaces it on Santa's head.
This is where it belongs. I was only trying to do a good job, but I made a real mess of everything. I'm sorry.
Cringing, he unties Santa's gag. Santa scowls and straightens up his cap, but rather than chastise Jack, immediately makes for the door.
No time to talk. I've got to go fix Christmas.
Santa charges off. Exterior Halloween Land Street. Various townspeople duck out of the way to avoid Jack, who has stopped to gaze up into the empty night sky. Zero floats beside him.
I hope it's not too late for him to set Christmas right.
Jack sighs and drags himself up from the deserted street.
Well, Zero, I guess it's just you and me. And Sally. She sure stuck by us, didn't she?
Downcast, he stalks along. Jack doesn't notice when it begins to snow. At first, just a few sparkling flakes fall.
Look!
What is that?
It snows more and more.
White
White.
things?
things?
Everywhere.
Could it be?
Snow?
Zero barks excitedly. Jack finally looks up.
It is snow. But how?
As if to answer Jack's question, we hear Santa's booming.
Ho, ho, ho!
High up in the sky, a slow smile spreads across Jack's face. The residents of Halloween come out to experience the snow, this miracle of Christmas that has come to Halloween. Celebration song echo of What's This? Jack joins in the celebration, but seems always to be looking around for someone. Exterior cemetery. As the celebrating goes on in town below, Sally climbs Cemetery Hill, sitting down at the top. She looks out at the round moon which shines behind the curtain of falling snow. She is moved to sing a brief reprise of Sally's song. Soon a second voice joins in, making the song a duet. The second voice belongs to Jack. He has found Sally. Jack sings.
My dearest friend, if you don't mind, I'd like to join you by your side. Let's sit together, you and I, alone where we can watch the sky.
He sits beside her. Together they look out at the moon and the snow. We pull back and up, above the clouds and snow, past Santa flying into the distance aboard his sleigh, above the gleaming light of the Christmas moon and into night. Pulling back and back into the stars, Santa's voice returns to narrate.
And finally, everything worked out just fine. Christmas was saved, though there wasn't much time. But after that night, things were never the same. Each holiday now knew the other one's name. And so, when their long isolation has ended, they cautiously reach out and slowly befriended. And each shared a bit of things they had had with each other, and they found it wasn't so bad. They had snowflakes and Halloween, those we could spare. And here in Christmas, enjoyed a few scares. The fireworks gave the Easter bunnies a thrill, and St. Patrick's Day cherishes Easter eggs still. And though that one Christmas things got out of hand, I'm still rather fond of that skeleton man. Though misguided, I think his intentions were good. He was just a poor skeleton, misunderstood. So many years later, I thought I'd drop in. And there was old Jack, still looking quite thin, with 4 or 5 skeleton children at hand, playing strange little tunes on their xylophone band. And I asked old Jack, do you remember that night? When the sky was so dark, and the moon was so bright? When 1,000,000 small children pretending to sleep nearly didn't have Christmas at all, so to speak? And would, if you could, turn back that mighty clock back to that long fateful night. Now, think carefully, Jack. Would you do the whole thing all over again, knowing what you know now, knowing what you knew then? He smiled like the old pumpkin king that I knew, then turned and softly asked me, wouldn't you? Oh.
Awesome. That was amazing, guys.
That was really
Wow.
fun.
That was. Obviously, it was different than the movie, and you guys all did amazing. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But we know it's late for some of you, and some of you have super early call times tomorrow. So before we get to all that greatness, we're going to quickly go around and let everyone elaborate a little more who they are, where you can find them, and what they're up to. So first, Amanda Shock.
Hi, everyone. So I've been acting for over 10 years in some form of another. I've done a lot of theater and a lot of background work, and I actually can't talk about what I'm working on right now because I'm terrified of the mouse.
Oh.
Understand. Hint, hint. And then next we have Justin, the other half.
Oh, you know me. I come here, I do silly voices, and then I go into the other room and I, be hubby to the wife. That is my world.
Sounds like not a bad world. That's pretty good. All right, and now Jack and Sally, V and Alexa.
Hello. Hi. I am V. I'm 14. And I love doing theater and plays whenever I can. And I love musicals a lot because, well, I think I'm pretty good at singing. And I'm also kind of good at acting. And just to do it is fun. And to show off my I'm not good at words.
Yes, you are.
And you can't find me on anywhere, any social media. I am elusive. You can find us here in Tennessee. I'm Alexa, V's mom. Don't tell them where to find us.
But if they want to hire you for something to do more acting and singing, then they can email Table Read Tuesday and stuff, and we'll get it. We'll make the connection. All right, awesome job, Vicki Dykes.
I wasn't ready.
I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Vicki Dykes. You can find me on Facebook under the name Vicki Dykes. I'm also on Instagram. I'm Yogagramma7. And I'm an actress. I've been doing this for a number of decades. I really enjoy performing, and if you'd like to hire me, that's where you can find me.
Excellent. Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan Toll. I'm a SAG-AFTRA actress, voice actor, and author based in New York City. You can find me on Instagram at Morgan Elizabeth Toll.
Jack.
Hello, this is the non-character one. Anyways, my name's Jack Loney. If you want to find me, just type in Jack Loney on the Instagram, Facebook. You'll probably find me there, even though the names are slightly different. And for YouTube, just VA Jack Loney. There isn't a lot of stuff. There's one beta demo reel, but I do have something planned to just show off other voices. But if you want to check out some of my old home videos, just check out Jack too. Cool. And also, I'm a recent applicant to Rosebud School of the Arts, so if I ever make it into a show there, you can probably expect me there. I don't know if I'll ever come. I don't know if I'll have time for Table Read Tuesdays if I go to Rosebud, but I'll definitely try.
We hope you're also successful that you don't have time for us. And we hope that if you're successful and you do have time for us, you're still come back. But Jack, for your last name, since it won't be shown later, how do they spell that so they can find you?
Yeah, it's my last name is just Loney.
All right. And Angelina Peterson?
Hi, I'm Angelina. I help out with Table Read Tuesday and do various other things. I have a few of my projects are out there right now, being played at K Days in Edmonton, Klondike Days at the Epcot Center. Epcot? I think it's Epcot Center. One of my documentaries, and my
TV, right?
Yeah, my narrative is on Telus Optic, short film, and some short documentaries are on Shaw Cable in Alberta, local. So, and I'm still doing Your Adored Life, which is custom family documentaries, capturing people's stories. And Jacob.
Also do some work for the Mouse and Table Read Tuesdays. That's me. JacobPatrick.com if you want to see more stuff. And Arend.
I'm Arend Williamson. I also go by the name just spell it ARY. My stutter really gets that one. I'm an aspiring voice actor. You can find me on Facebook as Ari Williamson, spelled with ARY. If you want to hire me on for a voice role, I'd really love the opportunity.
Cool, cool. Clint Monroe, Texas Ranger.
Texas Ranger, indeed, man. Chuck Norris, better watch out,
Very
son.
cute Texas Ranger.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, my name's Clint Monroe. You guys can find me at Clint Monroe on Facebook or Clint_Monroe on Instagram. If you guys want to hire me, I apologize. Please wait in line because it's super, super busy. And at one point, I'd like to breathe as much as I'm doing. But I will tell you that I was in a sticky situation with me and my crew. And luckily, I had Jacob Patrick there as the wheelman. So if you need a getaway driver, hire Jacob Patrick, man. He'll get you done. Anyways, yeah, things are just rocking and rolling. And so now that I'm super busy and trying not to find so much, it's good to see all you guys picking up and moving along too. It's great. I'm glad seeing that you guys are all working out. It's awesome, man. This thing's grown so much. And even going back to the musical numbers that we've done earlier, this was really, really good. So I loved it. Loved reading with you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
So
goodness willing, we'll all meet again in Nightmare Before Christmas 2, The Search for More Money.
All right.
Yes, we need a sequel.
I mean, technically, there's a PS2 game that's technically a sequel, but no one cares about that.
And we'll talk about that more after. We just want to. And it was good seeing you in person, Clint, and look forward to seeing you on Thursday in person. But before we finish this section, Heather.
Hello. My name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, and I'm a filmmaker / producer / creator. You can find me on my artist page on Facebook, Heather Lee Freelancer, and you can find me on YouTube, The Storm and Latter-day Saint. You can also find me on Facebook, Heather Lee Cameron, and you can also find me on Twitter, Chameleon 777771, and on Instagram, Heather Lee Cameron. I don't have any projects going right now except for the Club IDIC Chronicles. I produce those as I hold meetings, and that's just basically a diversity group. And I just produced and released an episode today, episode 34.
All right.
And I am actively looking for work and representation, either voice work or film work. And you can contact me at heather.leigh.cameron@gmail.com. And I've got my own little studio set up, and I record lines on my Blue Yeti mic and work on Audacity. So again, you can contact me at heather.leigh.cameron@gmail.com if you have work for me or want to have a conversation about work. Thank you.
Cool. And most of the cast here on YouTube limits how many you can see, but most of you can scroll through the other channels that are shown on our YouTube channel, and you can see everybody else's. So you can like, subscribe, Table Read Tuesdays, and then you can go and like and subscribe videos on their channels as well.
My old channel that you linked there is very cringy. It's called Beep 37. No one check it out. It's.
But now they're going to have to.
Everyone check it out.
No.
I'm linking my old home movies, so you're not the only one here.
Click, 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 click.
All right.
That's okay, V. I do Let's Plays.
Nice.
Table Read Tuesdays, making 14-year-olds cringe since 5 minutes ago.
All right. That wraps up the table read portion and getting to know your cast and how to contact them, and you definitely should. So we're going to let those who have to go, and then we'll talk more about sequel video games, the differences in the movie, etc. So, to all, how does that go? To all, good night? I don't know that saying.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all. Oh, wait, no, Santa, you do this. Santa, please.
Jack.
Okay, Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
I wish you had had your Santa hat on for that. That would have been
Yeah, we'll make it up for wearing it for the rest of this discussion until I leave.
Okay. All right, so those that have to go, again, thank you so much for being here, both regulars and new Amanda. Everyone, thank you. All right, to those, good night. And now for who can stay and want to stay. What else you guys have to say? I mean, amazing performances, everyone. Really good. Really good. Yes.
You were good.
What else you guys got to say except for the amazing performances? Obviously, yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can keep
Please,
going.
no, please.
Well, I was gonna say that there's actually one comic book out that's a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas called like Zero's Adventure or something, and there's another one coming out soon. Well, I don't know how soon. August maybe, called Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, and it's about Sally after the events of Nightmare Before Christmas. So you guys can check that out. And like, I think it was Santa or something mentioned a PS5 game or something.
Sweet. That's a lot coming still. Yeah, people love this, and it didn't do too well as soon as it came out. So, question for all of you. I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to answer everybody at once as soon as you hear it. All right. Who directed Nightmare Before Christmas?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Or at least he created it.
Most of you got the directing wrong. I think I saw some lips that were right. I see the lips going, but we can't hear her.
Martin Scorsese.
It's Henry
Selick.
Yeah. Morgan's mic likes to get cut off. Henry Selick. And what else has he directed?
Seth Rogen.
Coraline.
Yep, he's directed Coraline and other things.
Oh, Coraline creeps me out. My roommates made me watch it.
Yeah. So it was produced by Tim Burton. It has Tim Burton style. He would come down and check everything. But yes, Henry Selick directed it.
Did he do the Corpse Bride?
It is the third in the Boy and His Dog trilogy.
I'm not sure about who did the Corpse Bride. Does anyone know?
There's also a thing in the same style of Corpse Bride called Frankenweenie. It was like Frankenstein, but with a dog.
Yeah, that one's definitely Tim Burton from a long time ago.
Yeah. Frankenweenie is also from the mind of Tim Burton. It's based on one of his old shorts, which Disney turned into a full-length film. And Frankenweenie is the first of the trilogy. Corpse Bride is the second of the trilogy. And Nightmare Before Christmas is the third of the trilogy, and a story about a boy and his dog.
Been speculation, but I do agree.
Something there. So yes, I also want Henry Selick to get some of the credit of the movie that so many people love. So that's great.
The most I know about Corpse's Bride is that it was, I think Joe Ranft had a somewhat of a hand in it. He used to work for Pixar before he tragically passed away.
I don't know the details. It is Nightmare Before Christmas. I think one of the movies in the Netflix show, like the movies that made us, and they talk a little bit about this.
Oh, hey,
sure
Jack. You know how you mentioned the PS2 game?
Yes.
And how it's a sequel? Well, on the GBA, around the same time, they made a prequel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, but now you mention it, I do remember it. Oh, but now that you're on the topic, yes, there is technically a sequel game on the PS2 and maybe other consoles around that time. I'm not sure, but it's called
And
Nightmare Before.
The Kingdom Hearts games take place shortly afterwards.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts. Need to though, but like
really, the worlds in Kingdom Hearts, really, they're just an abridged version of their stories. Sometimes they make their own little ones for each world, but.
Cool. What are some of the differences you guys saw from the movie and the script? And which did you like more?
Well,
Santa has way less lines.
The big one I took note of was the bit when Sally was making the soup for Finkelstein. Because in the original, when she says I'm not hungry, she knocks the spoon over and then pulls out a different one that has holes in it.
Oh yeah, Sally got nerfed in this version.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't well. I'm guessing this is a pre-script before the shooting script.
It's nerfed.
And yeah, Sally was a background character, and then they gave her a more prominent role in the final draft.
Well, yeah.
I think on the cover it said first draft on this one.
And Jack doesn't meet Sally really until she brings him that food when he's doing his experiments. Whereas in this version, he met when he went to the to Finkelstein's house.
Yeah, no romantic subplot.
Yeah, and it actually wasn't confirmed that they got together in this one, except at the end where they said he had like 4 or 5 skeleton children, but it still wasn't confirmed that it was Sally that he got with. And also, the differences are like, I forgot what
the beginning.
Yeah,
There's
beginning.
more holidays.
Yeah, and Santa doesn't narrate. And there's like more holiday doors than they showed in the original.
Right.
And
Well, on the soundtrack for the movie, the narration is done by Sir Patrick Stewart, who did play Santa. So technically Santa narrates. Yeah.
Well, as far as the Santa isn't married thing, I think it's like a law of all Santa Claus films that he's married everywhere. So just, yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought about this when we were having a break and I was getting some apples, but like I thought about, yeah, there isn't like a Mrs. Claus in the original film, but I guess there's one in this version of the script. And I got a really dumb idea: Santa Claus into the Santaverse.
Oh,
It's like a law where Santa has to be married.
Yeah, and there could be like a dark Santa or his like dark twin brother Krampus. Yeah.
Okay, somebody write that, and we'll do it for Table Tuesday. I don't know if I want to play Robot Santa or Evil
I'm
Santa.
writing that.
I'll play composite Santa.
Yes.
You have quite the imagination.
I mean, if we can't do into the Santa.
That's supposed to be a compliment, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I mean, if we can't do in
voiced by John Goodman.
I mean, if we can't do into the Santaverse, we can always just do into the Spider-Verse. Next best thing.
You know, I was gonna ask, like, with all these dark scripts we've been doing, we should really do an Addams Family script just because.
That would be fun.
I'd be in.
Addams Family 2 has more characters, I think.
But which Addams Family? There's a ton of them, like in different variations.
Addams Family Values.
I'd be into that one.
Addams Family Values. Oh gosh, please let me be the killer.
Addams Family
Values.
I'd want to get in on that. There's so much to talk about with that movie.
Although Addams Family Reunion is the funniest parody of the Addams Family I've ever seen.
Well, if we do Addams Family, we'll talk about it more then. But for Nightmare Before Christmas, does anybody else have any more background knowledge about any of the writing or how some of the stuff came to be? Or
I don't mention it. Oh,
here's another change
for those of you who didn't know. The speaking voice of Jack, not the singing voice. The singing voice was Danny Elfman, lead singer of Boingo Boingo. The speaking voice was Chris Sarandon, who is also well known for playing Prince Humperdinck.
Prince Humperdinck.
And, if my facts are correct, Stitch.
He does Stitch?
Really?
66?
I think so. Chris Sarandon does.
Huh.
I would not have guessed that.
Hannah means family.
Wait, Morgan, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Someone else can go.
I was just saying that Sally is played by Catherine O'Hara, she was in a bunch of other Tim Burton films as well.
That's awesome. V, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, sorry. Every time me and my mom watch the movie, we notice something different every time because the writers and the animators just put so much detail into everything. And the most surprising part about it for me, it's astonishing that all of it is claymation. Like, you taught me how to do stop motion once. I remember that you have to move every little bit and like take pictures of all of it. And the animation is so smooth and fluid that must have taken forever.
Yeah, it's very awesome and time consuming for them to do that. And I'm shocked at how small the budget for this movie was.
Yeah,
like,
I commend anyone that does any sort of animation at all, especially 10 times for people who do stop motion, because that stuff is amazing. Like, I'm not sure if you know of like Aardman Animation, but like they've done stuff like Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, Chicken Run, and like that. I'm more familiar with that stop motion personally, but I have dipped stuff into Tim Burton.
Yeah,
Okay,
Leica
it
is
was
a studio that does a lot. Go ahead, Justin.
Chris Sarandon did not voice Stitch. Chris Sanders voiced Stitch.
Aha. Yeah, Chris Sanders, animator. Thanks for the correction.
Was this one of your projects, Jacob?
No.
Because I know you do a lot of animation work, don't you?
I do, and this one would have been honored to work on, but no, this is not one of
And
mine.
your IMDb, if anybody actually goes and looks at his IMDb, it's freaking massive.
So, you were saying, Morgan.
He hates compliments.
Saying that if anyone gets the chance to watch this at the El Capitan, they have a live orchestra, and it's a 4D experience where snow falls and you can smell the smells in the movie. It's a really, really cool experience, and they'll have a lot of the stop animation figures in the what do you call it when you go
corridors?
into It's a pretty cool experience if you get the chance to do it.
Where was that?
At the El
Oh, Capitan in Hollywood. Morgan, do you know, do they do it like every year or just
during Halloween time?
Yeah. Basically, any time where the Haunted Mansion holiday goes up at Disneyland, you can expect there'll be 1 or 2 showings over a weekend at the El Capitan in Hollywood.
That sounds cool. I'm sorry, I was giggling. Justin was making his little toy dance. How do you have like a toy for everything we do?
Because I am a overgrown man-child.
Like, where do you get all these toys? Do you just pull them out of the sky or what?
Where does he get such wonderful toys?
Like, you seem to have a toy for every film we do, for every script we do. And so does Morgan. I saw her little thing on Instagram. She made this little post of her showing off this cute little thing that she had drawn around her eye.
Cool.
So, Christmas or Halloween?
Halloween.
Halloween. Both are cool, but Halloween.
Halloween, because I get to cosplay as funny things, especially Star Wars people, which I've done a lot of in the last few years.
Christmas, I'm just gonna see myself out right now.
Yes, Angelina, there are pictures.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Halloween, or is it a Christmas show? Halloween show, Christmas show, or
American Thanksgiving.
Summer show for Jacob.
American Thanksgiving.
I had a friend who recently said he was going to, after every Halloween, the day after Halloween, watch Nightmare Before Christmas to start the Christmas holiday season.
Because the movie technically starts on November 1st.
Yes, so that's why I say watch it in November, aka American Halloween. I have to specify American because I'm Canadian and we celebrate it in October.
November 1st is Discount Costumes and Candy Day.
He's right, you know.
That's true. And we do, but I try to, American Thanksgiving is around my birthday, actually. So, when I get some money and COVID's a little better, I do plan to go celebrate that again, because the last time I celebrated American Thanksgiving was in 2019.
Ooh, we could do a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
That would be cute. I could be Charlotte. I'm kidding.
Or maybe I'll just crash on some American friend's doorstep. Anybody got a doorstep?
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, are you offering, Morgan? That's nice of you.
All right.
Yes.
We're being weird. I apologize. I started all this.
Don't apologize for being
Don't
weird.
worry.
Exactly.
The day we have to apologize for being weird at Table Read Tuesdays is the day we stop doing Table Read Tuesdays.
We're blissfully unmanageable, Jacob. Sorry.
And also, there'd be the apocalypse too.
Oh, that's probably coming sooner than we think, but c'est la vie. Let's eat, drink, and be merry for as long as we can.
Nah, there's no time. We can't have one too Tucson, we're just finishing up the current one that's been around for 2 years now.
All right. I'm like, everyone's tired of talking about COVID and all that stuff. So.
And now for something completely different.
What's next week?
Next week is Juno. So.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, June is almost over, but the movie Juno is what we're doing a table read of next week. So if you're hearing this live and you want to be a part of that, we got the form on Facebook, our Facebook group. If you're watching this later after June 28th, 2022, then it's already on the YouTube channel and you can watch it. We have a playlist of all the movies we did in order, so you can just go to the next one. But, yes, but good question, Heather. So thank you for that. I don't have any more else to talk about here. Do you guys? Anything else? You want to talk about?
Any more differences?
I'll be back for Greatest Showman.
I appreciate all of you. I appreciate.
You're doing The Greatest Showman?
Did I spoil something?
Are we? I think we considered it at one point.
Facebook.
I think we are at some point. I don't remember. I have to check the list, but let me just say that I appreciate all of you people as friends and actors and skilled individuals. I'm grateful for all of you and for everybody who left, who couldn't stay.
Likewise.
You too.
August 30th.
Oh, that's my brother's birthday.
Yes, we are doing The Greatest Showman at the end of August. August 30th will be The Greatest Showman.
I love those songs.
Oh, except for maybe not. We don't have that script yet.
Never mind,
We
I
have
don't
it
love those
planned,
songs.
and we're scheduled to do it August 30th, but we haven't found the script. So if anybody's watching this and you have the script, send it to us or send us a link where to find it.
Find it. Go on a mission.
If we can find it, we'll read it. If not, that's going to be another one. We're going to have to do a swap-a-roo. So, all right. Well, if you guys celebrate holidays, go have some good holidays.
Yes,
otherwise-
July 1st is coming up.
Yes.
And July 4th.
So if not, have good nights, have good weeks, have good everything.
You
all
all,
right.
and you all as well.
Yes, be safe, live long and prosper. Love yourselves. Love each other.
And now the bars of your ghostly carriage will rise, and the ghost will follow you home.
Perfect ending for a perfect table read.
Agreed.
Bye.
Bye.